Mike Mentzer was an extremely intelligent and successful bodybuilder and a businessman. We can call him one of the most iconic bodybuilders of all time. His heavy-duty training caught attention from many of the lifters trying to maximize their results in the gym. Even today, so many years later, people are considering his high-intensity training protocols and incorporating them into their workouts. Weight training, he insisted, had to be brief, infrequent, and intense to attain the best results in the shortest amount of time. So what exactly is high-intensity training that Mike Mentzer promotes? There are three main things. First, every set has to be taken not just to failure, but even beyond. You can do that by using specific training techniques, things like forced reps. That's what it means to be training at a high intensity. Besides that, Mike Mentzer promotes low volume of training. So basically, just a couple of sets per workout. And finally, it consists of a very low training frequency, which means not training very often in order to give your body enough time to recover. I like Mike Mentzer, especially the mustache, but his training philosophy is a little bit outdated. That was like 40 years ago. Things have changed, we know much better nowadays. But don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that training intensity should be low. Definitely not. When I take a look around the gym, everyone's like tra-la-la-la-la, looking around, just going through the motions. With that type of training, there is no amount of volume that will compensate for such lack of intensity. I don't care if you spend all day in the gym, it's worthless. What I'm talking about is doing the maximum amount of volume that your body can recover from, done with the maximum effort. So what Mike talks about is high training intensity in order to create stimulus to grow, low volume and low frequency to let your muscles recover, to be fully ready for the next intense lifting session. The rationale behind that is 100% justified, I would say. The recovery is definitely a big deal. However, he's unnecessarily taking it to the extreme. He was thinking that if you're doing lots of training volume, that your body won't be able to recover from all that work, which is very generic formula. Some people, like beginners, for example, might benefit from doing low volume because they are undertrained. They certainly can't recover. Maybe also some people who are very strong and they are more fast twitch muscle fiber dominant. On the other hand, there are people who are going to do these low volume workouts and be like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like I did anything. If that's you, then you might consider doing more. If your chest feels sore the entire week from, let's say, 10 sets of chest training, you're not going to increase the volume to 20 sets. That doesn't make sense. You have to modify your training based on how you feel, based on your own recovery, which is going to depend on your genetics and level of experience. If you're a beginner, maybe you're gonna do 10 sets. If you're an advanced lifter, maybe closer to 20 sets a week. As you progress to the more advanced levels, the amount of training volume should also go up. The more you can do, the more you will grow. Let's talk about the training frequency. HIIT training says you should train each muscle group only once a week. I'm pretty sure that's not the best way to go. Studies are very clear on this one. Training each muscle group more frequently is going to give you better results. So 2 to 3 times a week seems to be ideal. Smaller muscle groups like biceps or calves can be trained like 3 to 4 times a week, man. Bigger muscle groups like quads or chest, 2 times a week is fine, but definitely not just once a week. Now, is there anyone who might benefit from Mike Mentzer's high intensity training? Sure, I would say people who are very busy. Maybe you don't have the time to do as much training volume that you should be doing. You might be able to compensate that lack of volume with some extra training intensity. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you don't have time to spend an hour in the gym. Let's say you only have 30 minutes. For 1 hour, you would have been able to do 15 sets. But since you only have half of that time available, you'll be able to do 7 or 8 sets. So, in order to make up for that lack of volume, you might be looking into advanced training techniques, things like drop sets, supersets, rest pauses, maybe extra partial reps, all those things. That way, you'd be able to do some extra work without spending time doing that. You increase the intensity because you don't have the time for sufficient amount of volume. Another thing I would say is beneficial when it comes to mentzer's heavy duty training is that it allows you to focus very well on what you're doing. The quality of the sets that you're doing will probably go up because you're limited to such low number of sets. It shifts your mind towards focusing on your technique and really giving it your best to make things happen during that limited amount of time that you have available in the gym. It also teaches you to really understand what it means to train until failure. As I mentioned, it's a rare quality to see nowadays in the gym, and most of the people would really profit from learning how to do that. Okay, Mike Mentzer gave up on bodybuilding after 1980s Mr. Olympia controversy when Arnold Schwarzenegger showed up after many years of his retirement as a professional bodybuilder and won his 7th Mr. Olympia title. Mentzer thought it was a setup and never showed up on stage again. These two guys had two completely different views on training, so here I want you to watch another video about the way Arnold trained so you can make a better decision on what you are going to do. Subscribe if you want to support my channel, thumbs up if you enjoyed watching this video, and see you there. Bye bye.